All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of From the Front Porch. I'm your host, Joshua Walker, and welcome back doubly because, we weren't here last week, and I know that caused all sorts of natural disasters and terrible occurrences and a great disturbance in the forest and all of that. So we're back. Everything is saved. Everything is under control. It's always good to have a week off. It's always better when it's a week off in Florida. It was my wife and I's anniversary. We took the kids. We did all sorts of Walker-esque activities. So going to the beach, going out in nature, going to the zoo, kind of just a low-key week, but anything to spend time with the family and get away from it all and be able to just focus on being happy and loving each other and all those kind of things. It's always great. So, shout out Florida. I probably once an episode I do it, but shout out Florida just being the greatest place in the world to take the family and get away from it all and all that kind of stuff. So, with that said, all kinds of things happened, all sorts of things to talk about. We're going to get into all that. But before we do, I want to give a huge shout out to the boys over at Dead Threads Apparel. You've heard it all before, but you know what they've got. They've got football, they've got basketball, they've got baseball, they've got hockey, they've got the commie sport. They've got whatever you need. If you're looking for athletic wear, t-shirts, sweaters, hats, whatever, I think they've got hats, but whatever you could possibly want, I'm sure the boys over there could whip it up. If they don't have it now, message me, DM me, I'll talk to them and see if we can get something rolling. But yeah, they're great. They're great over there. And so, go to deadthreads.shop, use code FTFP for 10% off. That lets them know that I sent you, helps out me, which helps out you by giving you a discount on your stuff. So yeah, code FTFP, Dead Threads Apparel. I don't know why you haven't done it yet if you haven't, but go do that. With that out of the way, this week, 2 weeks off or whatever, we got to do it big. So we brought Nash, we brought Alex back. It's going to be an all-time great episode, Hall of Fame type episode. It's just, when the three of us get together, when the three of us have a conversation, it's just nothing but good talks, good porch cigar, having a drink or so kind of conversation. So we're going to get into all that. A lot of sports stuff happened. We're going to get into all sorts of different sports, talk a little bit about some NFL criticism from me, some other football stuff, some rugby stuff, some NASCAR, some F1 stuff's going on. This weekend's been a crazy start for a whole lot of stuff. So we're going to get into all that sports-wise. Then politics, of course, politics is going to be an insane section this week because 2 weeks off, 2 weeks worth of world changing events happens in 2 weeks because every day is just another article or whatever of something that should be absolutely life altering, but people just pretend like it's not that big of a deal. So we're going to get into all that in politics. Then of course we're going to move on to attitude and gratitude like we always do. If we're going to complain, we also have to be grateful. And then to end the episode this week, we normally do a tier list. It's super fun to do a tier list with the boys, but this week we're going to do something a little different. Me and the boys had a conversation, and I had some thoughts to myself in the car one day. And, the reason that a lot of people, nerds, whatever, like fiction stories or fantasy stories is we like to put ourselves in those stories. And a lot of the times whenever you talk to people about which character do you connect with or whatever, you get a lot like, oh, I'm the Hulk because I'm strong, or I'm, Captain America because I'm patriotic. But me and the boys this week, we're going to get into it a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about characters we identify with and really sort of empathize with on a deep, meaningful level. So we're going to get into that. We're going to see how that goes. All that and much more coming up from the Front Porch.
Big shits and small shits and no shits like French shits. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of From the Front Porch. I'm your host, Joshua Walker. My goodness, I couldn't be more excited to be back here with the boys. We've been having some fun times off screen, but I'm ready to have some fun times on screen. You boys ready to have some fun times on screen?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into all that, you know what I got to do? Check out the ladies and gentlemen over at Dead Threads Apparel. They've got football, they've got basketball, they've got soccer, they've got baseball, they've got hockey, they got whatever you could possibly want. Sports apparel wise, go look at them up. Go use code FTFP, 10% off. We've been getting some really good numbers over there. Let's keep it up. Let's keep the momentum going. And yeah, go check out Dead Threads Apparel, code FTFP, 10% off for your sports apparel needs. All right, boys, we got a lot to get into. 2 weeks off. That's a lot of stuff that's happened in between.
Yeah.
We start with sports, and I got to talk about this. So, I talked about to both of you, to either way. I talked about I've sort of replaced the NFL in my heart with NASCAR, and it was more so because, like the NFL is just so fucking lame now, dude. And so, like from the Pro Bowl and then the Super Bowl, and it's just like fucking gay. But more so than that. So now now it's like a bad relationship, like a toxic relationship, where I'll just sort of like check in and be like, is it like not bad anymore? And then it still is. And so this week
NFL
is
stalking.
Yeah, like checking their social media. But so this week has been the NFL Combine, and the NFL Draft is coming up, and Caleb Williams is like projected to be the number one pick, number one quarterback off the board, and his whole thing has been like he's not going to have an agent. He wants a piece of ownership when he gets drafted. He what the hell was the other thing so rookies, like part of the agreement with the players union, rookies sign a 3-year rookie deal. It's like automatic. The numbers can be different based on where you're drafted, but it's an automatic contract. And he's now come out and been like, no, I don't think so. I think I want like my own kind of contract. And it's like all the things I hate. The reason I like have stopped watching the NFL, he has like personified them. And so again, just checking in, like maybe being like, oh, maybe it's a little bit better. And it's just like, no, all the worst parts of everything I hate about the NFL are just getting worse and worse. And now the players in college who are getting like the NIL money and stuff, they're bringing it in. And so it's probably just going to get worse. It's probably not going to get better. It's going to get a whole lot worse with all these players coming in. So what are you boys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, dude. Like it's like I saw something, and it was Ole Miss is their quarterback. Like he got a deal, and it was like a private jet, like to wherever he wanted, like for so many flights a year or something like that. And I was like, that's like, how do you, when you take that step from college to NFL, what's your incentive if you're already getting all of this like thrown at you, like the Caleb Williams, like, he's like already everyone knows him so well, like it's hard, like it's hard to like, you've got these guys who come from nothing, and then like they just get all this stuff once they get like drafted, and it's like, oh, that he's an NFL player or whatever. Like he made it, he did his due diligence. And it's like now you get to college and you're already getting that, like
you're already that guy. And that's actually it's so funny. You said what's the incentive? Well, Shadur Sanders, the quarterback for Colorado, he was going to go in this year to the draft, and then he was like, okay, well, the quarterback draft this year is better than it will be next year, and I'm already making so much money in college that I'm just going to stay in college, and I'll come out next year. And it's like, now you're making decisions based on, like, money and where you'll be drafted. Like, because, hopefully, God willing, it doesn't happen, but next season he could get his ACL, MCL blown out, and then he's done forever.
Yeah.
Like, and, so financially, but you have this opportunity to be drafted, and you're like, nah, I'm going to gamble because I got my money now. And it's like, I don't like that. I want guys who are like, it's a blessing to be in the NFL, not I'll be in the NFL when I get to be in the NFL or when I want to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't like that.
Dude, that's so crazy.
Like, I feel like the rookie deal, like your first 3 years signed, like it's kind of like a safeguard for the NFL teams, because like what if you don't adjust to that level appropriately?
Exactly.
Like, why does Caleb Williams thinks he's that, like, yeah, obviously he's good, but there's plenty of quarterbacks that have been number one draft pick, like top tier quarterbacks that have not panned panned out at all in the NFL. So is he just having an ego about himself?
Yeah.
Or do you think there's some kind of underlying thing, like medical wise, where he's like, I'm trying to get the locked in guaranteed money, and that's...
Well, he that was one of the other things from this week. He refuses to do any of the medical testing from the combine because he's not throwing, he's not participating. But normally the people who don't throw or whatever, they still do all the medical testing and all that, and he's not doing any of it. And it's like, who do you think you are? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
Where you get
that's
off
like
doing that.
Hopefully they all just like don't draft him.
That's my hope too. But
I think a lot of things that these guys going to the NFL don't realize. Like Derrick Henry talked about this. Like Derrick Henry, the beast of a man that he is, went to the NFL. Like one of, if not the greatest college running back of all time. One of.
Yeah.
Went to the NFL and he was like, it's a different game. He was like, it's not. He said the first time I got hit in the NFL, he goes, I didn't know what to think. He was like, it was crazy. And he is a man amongst boys out there, and he said that. And it's like, you think you're more special? No.
That's the same thing. Like when I was the best player on my team in basketball in high school, and when you go to college, you're going against everybody's best player. To that level.
Yeah.
And now in college, you're going from every best player in college is going to the NFL. So it's like you're in this. Yes, you're the best quarterback, but now you got to go against the best cornerbacks, best every position. Like it's not. You might cook some D1 person who wouldn't even make it into the NFL, and you look great out there in college, but it's not going to fly when millions of dollars are on the line.
Well, and like that's a great point, and especially like it's not just the best player from every college. It's a guy who was the best player on his team in college, and he's spent the last 10 years in the NFL every single day perfecting his craft with the best health, the best coaches, the best everything, and now you've got to like throw against him. And it's just I understand somebody like Aaron Rodgers or somebody having that confidence about him, but you haven't done a damn thing, and you're already in there making like orders and declarations. It's just wild. But so that's what's been going on with my abusive relationship with the NFL.
One last thing on that. Who is who has the number 1 draft pick? Like who's
the Bears?
Didn't they just get a quarterback?
Well, so there's a lot of speculation because they got Justin Fields, and there's a lot of speculation that either they're going to take the number 1 receiver, who's Marvin Harrison Jr., or they're going to trade Justin Fields and pick up Caleb Williams and pick up another first-round pick from Justin Fields and try to stack their team for their new quarterback. But, I think you've got a guy who's already shown that he can do it, at least at whatever level Justin Fields has done it at. You can debate what level that is, whatever. But Caleb Williams hasn't played a single snap. You have no idea because there was the Jamarcus Russell, probably the most infamous number 1 overall bust. He came in the NFL, and then they would give him empty film CDs and say, hey, watch this. And he would come to practice and be like, yeah, I watched all that film. And they would be like, there wasn't any film on the CD. Yeah. So you have no idea if Caleb Williams is going to be that kind of guy. You have no idea if he's going to, or if he's going to, like I said, first game blow out his entire knee and then be done for the rest. Like, you already have a quarterback who's semi-competent. Just build around him. Like, we see good teams all the time that build around average quarterbacks, and they do really well because they're stacked.
He's just making himself too much of a risk now for for them to give up like something that's a little bit more secure, and like the upscale of Caleb Williams versus what they already have. Like, they're just making it, that would be way more of a risk.
Yeah.
And to me, he's already a distraction.
Yep.
Are you going to come into the league and be like, oh, yeah, I love my team and everything?
Yeah.
Dude, you're literally just here for yourself. Go away.
Yeah. But on the note of NASCAR, I had an interesting tidbit about this too. So there's a documentary on Netflix right now called NASCAR Full Speed, and it showed a lot of cool things. And one of the things that I was thinking about watching it is that our cultural perception of NASCAR has been such a psyop. Because, like, when you think about NASCAR, like, you think about, like, a bunch of rednecks drinking beer and the car's going fast and they're making a left turn and all those kind of, like, jokes that people make. But watching this documentary, like, there's so much science and physics and all these kind of things that go into it every single day. I learned that the crew or the pit crews are, like, former D1 athletes who don't make it in their sport because they have to be so physically athletic to be able to do what they do. And so I think it's just such a crazy thing that like I said, it was a psyop that it's just this hick sport where they drive real fast, but there's so much actual like brain power that goes into it. And one of the I wish I could remember his name right now, but one of the better drivers, newer drivers, he started racing on like through sim video games. And so he took all that time on the sim and put it in a car. And so it's like, it's not just that he was some effing redneck who was like driving real fast on a truck on back roads and that's where he learned to drive. Like he figured out all the science of it on the sim and then took that into the real world. And I was like, yeah, of course the sport that's like patriotic and they pray before the races. And of course our culture made it like stupid and redneck and dumb.
I went to one NASCAR race, and it was last year or year before, and yeah, dude, like I'd never been before, and so I was like, oh, it's gonna be a bunch of rednecks and dude, there was every color of the rainbow. There was like we saw like nerds, like they looked like straight up nerds, and I was like, what are you doing here? And they had their earmuffs and their popcorn or whatever, and they were out there just watching the race, and I was like, this is crazy. Like it is so wild. And the environment there, I'll say this. At all this, I've been to NFL games, I've been to college games, I've been to a hockey game, like I've been to everything. The environment there was so friendly though. Like not a single soul was like mad at each other. It was so crazy because they like, and I asked the people while I was there, I was like, like this is awesome. Like this is really cool. And they're like, we just come out and have a good time all together, and we just watch the race. And I'm like, that's awesome.
That's
like,
that's pure Americana right there.
They had like RVs outside of the racetrack, like watching on their TV outside of the racetrack. And I'm like, why didn't you just stay home? And they're like, we just like to hang out with everybody. And I was like, that's fair enough. Like,
hell yeah,
that's crazy. It was wild.
Alice, you got thoughts?
Good.
Well, I went to one when I was young. I was probably like 12 or 13, and I loved it. But I mean, the whole time when you're that young, you're like, crash, somebody crash. So I mean, that part is cool. But I feel like everything that they showed. I haven't watched the documentary, but just with what you're saying, like it's hard to show all of that when all the focus is on the dude driving. Like,
yeah. But but there's 1,000 like YouTube videos or documentaries or whatever about the science behind the NFL and how like they train and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, I'm glad they did this, but I don't know why they didn't do it sooner. But it's out there now, so it is what it is. And just like Alex, like I used to go to races all the time when I lived with my mom when I was like 13, 14, and I loved it. And then like just the perception that it gets, I was sort of like, okay, yeah, I guess it is just like a bunch of dumb rednecks, but it's not. It's like you said, it's just a bunch of good American boys out there enjoying this like great sport of racing. And to piggyback off of that, I also F1 started yesterday. And it's so funny that for Europeans, F1 is like this classy sport where they like Mercedes and Ferrari and all those guys, Maserati, whatever the hell the other teams are, but Red Bull, they're all out there like creating these beautiful cars that like all the same science behind it and everything. But that's how Europeans view racing, where Americans are like, oh, it's a bunch of dumb rednecks, go woo, and it's like, no, I mean, sure, there are definitely country boys out there going woo, but there's so much more to it than that, and so it's just it was a funny thing or like a cool experience for me to be like, oh, so there's so much more to it than just turning left.
The movie didn't help NASCAR at all. Talladega
Nights.
Great movie.
Dude, the amount of this guy I follow on social media, Mimetic Sisyphus, he posts like great points about everything, but he has a good point about how like a lot of people don't understand history or science or anything outside of movies. And so like there are a lot of people who saw Talladega Nights and viewed it as like a documentary as opposed to like a satire. And they're like, oh, that's what NASCAR is. It's Ricky Bobby who like joined from the pit crew and just jumped in there and went real fast. It's like, no, but that's a great movie. I just watched it like 4 nights ago or something.
Yeah, they also have a foot race, so that's not okay.
he goes backwards at one point. Like, yeah, it's,
Yeah, spelling out number 1 in the dirt and like
Fig Newton's on the
yeah.
windshield. Yeah.
Yeah. The sticker is large and dangerous, but I do love.
I do love Fig Newtons.
Top 3 most quotable movies, easy.
Easily.
Dude, there's a lot of Will Ferrell that I can't stand, but his movies they all have that. Like the other guys, Talladega Nights, Step Brothers, like they're
Anchorman.
all Anchorman. Everything he says
so
is like a quotable
quotable.
line. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other sports thing from this week. Well, actually, Nash and I last episode we talked about what was going on in Six Nations, and I said all 3 games happened pretty much exactly the way I said, other than Italy and France tied, and I said France was going to smoke Italy. So shout out to my Italian boys; they actually drew, I guess, instead of losing. But I said that all the games looked like they were going to be a blowout, except for Scotland and England. Scotland might give England a bit of a fit, and Scotland ended up upsetting England, so that was awesome. There's this guy, Duhan van der Merwe. It's just the craziest Scotland. Yeah. But he's just, Duhan van der, I think he's actually South African, but he's on the Scotland team, so he's Duhan van der Merwe. But I got this guy on my rugby team who's from Scotland, and I asked him, I was like, why is he so good? And he was like, he's just a fucking unit. And I was like, that's fair enough. Fair enough.
Just a unit.
Just a unit. But and then American rugby, Major League Rugby just started this weekend. The Miami Sharks just became a team this year, and they played a couple hours ago, so hopefully they won. For some reason, I don't know why American rugby is like incompetent, but they don't post highlights. They don't post, the games aren't usually on TV, and they don't post the scores until after the game is over. So you can't even follow like online of what's going on. It's like, how do you expect to grow your fan base if the only way you can like know what's going on is if you go to the games?
Yeah. Or like you find out after the fact.
Yeah.
Man, you should reach out
but-
for a job.
Dude, telling you, a little marketing for Major League Rugby.
Easy.
Speaking of, real quick, I just gotta throw this in there. My rugby team yesterday won 62-0. Shout out my
No big deal.
shout out my boys.
No big deal.
No big
That
deal.
was a close game.
It's because I started. My first game ever starting, and we smoked them. So
There's
all right.
a new factor there.
You boys got anything sports related before we move on to the worst stuff?
Nah, man, I ain't really been keeping up, to be honest.
What's going on? Dude, maybe you can fill me in. I feel like I get a notification from ESPN 4 times a day that so-and-so fought so-and-so, or so-and-so started a brawl with so-and-so. Like, what the hell is going on in basketball? They're just beating each other up.
Their brawls and everything is just like a little push and like a stare down every single
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Bunch of softies out there.
Fucking Draymond Green is like always fighting people, and
That dude needs to get out of the league.
Yeah.
Start boxing. He should be a freaking YouTube boxer or something.
hell yeah. Dude, speaking of, real quick with that, dude, Jake Paul just had a fight yesterday, and he fought some fucking chubby dude who like hasn't boxed in 3 years, and he beat him, of course. And so then he gets on social media and he's like talking about he's the GOAT and all this, and it's like, dude, you fought some guy, you fought some random guy. Like, can we?
He's fought one real boxer, like one current real boxer, and he
And
lost.
He lost.
He lost. And the thing is, though, is Tommy Fury's not even like a top tier professional boxer.
No.
Like he's good, but he's still like only has a few fights under his belt, like all this stuff. Like
He's a top
Just-
YouTube boxer, but like,
oh yeah,
I have a feeling I think Logan Paul will probably stay relevant longer since he's in the WWE, but Logan Paul, I don't think 5 years he's done.
dude,
Yeah.
and it's so funny because like it seemed for like a half a second they were like transitioning to like to be different, and then they're just exactly how they've been forever. So kind of sucks for them, but that's life,
yeah.
I guess.
I hate the Paul brothers. I hate them.
Logan specifically, I can't stand it. Like the whole thing he did with his best friend, where he like mocked him for being Christian basically every day until he quit his podcast. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, dude, like, yeah.
Yeah. That, dude, that was so, oh my gosh. And then, like, I just hate it. This is one of the biggest things, too, I hate about, like, those two is that, like, they can do whatever they want. And there's, like, no repercussion. Like, they just, like, oh, I'm sorry. And then they may lose some subscribers for a little while, but they get right back.
Yep.
Like when he did that whole, like, suicide forest thing. Like, I'm sure y'all heard about that or saw something about it. Like, he, like, kind of disappeared for a little bit, and then he put out a documentary about him, like, recovering and being better and all that stuff like that. And then, like, a year later, he's mocking someone on his podcast for being a Christian. And it's like, all he has to do is just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm changing, I'm getting better. And then people are just like, give me your content, give me your content. Like, it's like, dude, open your eyes and look a little bit. Give me your content.
Feed me. Well, actually, he just got in trouble like a couple months ago, or maybe a year ago now, for scamming people with like, I think it was like one of those
The
lottery,
crypto.
the crypto scam
Yeah.
thing. Like he just got in trouble for that shit.
Yeah, and he's trying to relaunch it right now. Fun fact.
Fuck, dude. Like,
Yeah.
People will fall for it again.
For me to hate him as much as I do, I know way too much about their crap, and I hate it because I don't want to. It just pops up, and then I just have to read it and get mad. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's trust me, I totally understand reading shit you hate all day long.
Dude.
Speaking of which, we're gonna move on to some politics, some
Let's get into
shittier stuff. All right, boys. Well, we can start it off with this because it's just sort of the elephant in our room. Little cyber airman decided he was going to light himself on fire to protest Israel and Palestine. And as you can see, nothing has happened.
Yeah, nothing changed.
And I posted this on my social media, and I'm sure you guys saw it, but like he's gone. He's gone forever. He's never coming back. He's not responding or anything like that. He's gone, dead forever. And because of the environment that he surrounded himself in with leftists and in that sort of social media, I've seen some Reddit stuff where people found his Reddit and he was in those like political spheres, and he thought deep enough in his heart and soul that he should burn himself on fire and kill himself in one of the worst ways you could probably kill yourself, to protest this thing that doesn't affect him. He didn't care about until 6 months ago. But now he's dead and nothing happened. Nobody's going to remember his name. He's become a meme. People have made jokes about him, and then it's going to move on. And it's like, I don't know. And this is part of what I posted on social media, but like the death cult that is the left in our country right now, whether it's like trans mass shooters shooting people because they're told that like people are out there to genocide them, so they have to fire back before they die, or women being told that they have to like kill their babies because if not, like Republicans are going to put you in prison for being pregnant or whatever. This guy for Israel killing himself for Israel and Palestine, again, a conflict he didn't care about until this year, or I guess until last October. Like, I don't understand how, because even our president has gotten up there and said that Republicans and MAGA, they're the greatest threat to our country and the greatest threat to our democracy. And I just don't understand how we even live in the same realm of reality where you can say that the shooters and the pyrotechnics and everybody else who's doing these crazy things, they're no threat to anybody. But me, sitting at my house watching NASCAR today, I'm the greatest threat to our democracy that we don't have, but the greatest threat to our democracy. I just don't understand.
Yeah. It makes absolutely zero sense. It's like you get they get told something, and then it's like, okay, that's a fact now. Like, there's nothing further, and it's like, and we talked about this a little bit last night. It was like, no one looks into anything. You just like, they get hit with a fact, and they're like, cool, I'm with that now. That's what I believe. Like, it's so crazy. And especially the fact where, like, if you are willing to light yourself on fire for something like that you're just told, like, no. Like, I just don't, my brain can't comprehend it. I can't. I can't understand.
That has happened
Like,
multiple times from different people, like the monk that did it in China and all that stuff. And
Yeah,
the people on the sides aren't like, oh, whoa, we gotta
yeah,
stop what
yeah.
we're doing immediately. Like you're on the internet for like 2 or 3 days, and then nobody cares.
They're
dude, that's
blowing up and like they're having a war. You think they care that one person killed himself? Like, no, no, they don't. Especially not even a person from their country. Like,
dude. There
no,
is the
like the
funniest.
country.
One of the funniest videos I've ever seen, and I should have looked it up, but there was a college, I think it was Harvard or something, but they their like faculty got together with their Palestine movement group or whatever, and they signed a document asking for a ceasefire from Israel. And so then when they signed this document, the whole fucking room went wild, and there was cheers, and there was crying, and there was you didn't do a fucking thing.
You
Nobody
didn't do
cares.
anything.
But it's this, and that's sort of what this guy took it to like the extreme. But all these people think they're like fighting, like they're like little guerrilla war fighters fighting for freedom. And it's like, you're not doing anything. You're just making yourself feel better. You have not accomplished a single thing in this world except for making things worse for everybody else. Like
Yeah.
we'll talk about in a little bit with the illegal stuff this week, but like one of the stories I want to talk about, a 2-year-old boy was shot by an illegal immigrant. That's what you've accomplished by, oh, we're fighting for like the innocent single mother in Mexico so she can come here and have a better life. By doing that, all you've accomplished is letting like the worst violent people from South America come and kill and rape and like injure your fellow countrymen. That's all you've accomplished. There hasn't been a single thing that you have helped. You've just made everything worse, and it drives me crazy. Like, it's just like I don't know how we're even having the same like experiences. I don't understand.
Yeah. It makes absolutely it makes zero sense. It's like I understand wanting to stand for something and wanting to like wanting to be a part of something, and I think that's like a big thing is like they just want to feel a part of something, and like a lot of people are like, I want to be on the right side of history, but at the same time, most I don't want to say most, but a lot of people aren't going to be on the right side of history. Like it's just a plain fact. Like, and sometimes you have to take a step back and be like, okay, if I light myself on fire and die today, okay, will anyone in this country care? No. Will my family and my close friends care? Yeah, a lot. It'll affect them a whole lot. Who do I care about more? But
Yeah.
it's so crazy in their brain. They're like, I care about that more. Like, I can never, like, I can't wrap my head around it. I can't understand it, man.
Well, and I posted.
Why are they fighting? Why are they at war?
Well, there's been like 70 years of conflict between the two nations, and again, I'm not going to get on here and defend Israel in any sort of way. There's all kinds of things they've done that are wrong, but the reason for the conflict right now is on October 7th of last year, Palestine snuck a bunch of people into Israel and slaughtered 3,000 innocent Israeli citizens. And Cassie and I had this conversation because she was sort of asking the same thing, and it was like, the way I described it is, our neighbor and in our house, we don't get along, and so we've been going back and forth. But what they did was they just randomly fired and shot into our house, and they hit. Say all of our family was here. They hit some of our family members, killed some of our family members, whatever. And now, of course, my response is going to be to absolutely obliterate everything in that house. I don't care I don't care who I hit. I don't care what happens. You shot into my house and injured my family, killed some of my family members. I'm going to wipe you off the map. And that's it's icky and it's bad and it's violent, but that's reality. That's
Retaliation.
well, yeah, well, and that's like, yeah, you want a ceasefire from Israel. If I punch somebody and they just start beating the shit out of me, it's not my like right to go, hey, please stop. Like, you should stop fighting me. I should be doing whatever they're asking me to do to get them to stop beating the shit out of me. And so Hamas, Palestine, whoever you want to say, should be on their knees begging Israel, what do you want us to do? We'll do it. But they're saying no. There's no negotiation on their side. So Israel's like, okay, fuck it. We're just going to keep kicking your shit in.
Why is everyone saying free Palestine then?
Because
you're seeing it.
And realistically, and it seems very simple, but it's honestly the truth. It's that Israelis are of lighter complexion, and so they're perceived as like white, and so they're perceived as the bad guys because they're successful. They're a successful country, a strong country, and they're white. And Palestine is the brown guys, and they're not as well off. They're they live in a worse country, and so all the left did was go, oh, the brown downtrodden folks, they're our guys, and that's literally as far as they've gotten. And I mean, that's why even the guy the fire boy, he immediately after he did it, there were people of color on the left in our country who were immediately like saying, don't use rest in power because that's for black people, and he's not a black person, so he doesn't get to use. Like, they were immediately mocking him for being white and being privileged and being male and all those kind of things. And it's like, you lit yourself on fire for a group of people who hate you. And so it accomplished nothing. Like, Israel-Palestine's still going on. Like Nash said, your family is now destroyed forever because they lost their family member to suicide. And you did it for a group of people who hate you. Like, I don't understand.
Like us.
Yeah. It would be like the way I cartoonishly envision it is like he did it and then turned around to be like, did I do it, guys? And they're all like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, what? And then he dies. And it's like,
yeah.
Like,
it's like, oh my gosh, we actually got him to do it. Like,
can you believe he did that shit? What an idiot.
Yeah. What a dumbass. Like, it's
one
so
less
crazy.
one less whitey on the planet.
Yeah.
But
It's so crazy.
But so what? And then while we're on like insane things, and I'm sure you guys saw it too, but there was that woman, Laken Riley, the University of Georgia college student who was murdered by an illegal immigrant, and they supposedly, from what I've seen, he went to rape her, she fought back, and he beat her to death. And that was in the same week that the 2-year-old boy, like I said, a 2-year-old boy got shot in Maryland, which I also posted about on my social media. But having a 3-year-old and a newborn, and that's sort of in the middle, like, I know exactly where that little boy was at developmentally, and he was barely able to speak some words. He probably was like walking around all super cute and like sort of not able to keep himself up. And his last moments on this earth, because 2 years old, he'll have memory, he'll have like to sort of be able to express how he's feeling. And his last moments on this earth, he was scared and in like the most pain you probably would ever be in. And it's just like, oh, a 2-year-old, yeah, news reports, 2-year-old boy shot by illegal immigrant. Okay, like, next news story. It's like, I don't think you guys understand like what this little boy went through, and it was all preventable if we would just enforce the fucking laws we have on the books. Like, you don't have to do anything else. Congress didn't need to pass anything else. Nothing else needed to be done. Just let the people, the Border Patrol and ICE and all of them do what they're supposed to be doing. And like in the case of Laken Riley, I don't know about the 2-year-old boy's murderer, but the Laken Riley case, he had been arrested in New York. He had been arrested in another state, and not arrested for like, peeing on the street or whatever. He was arrested for endangerment to a child. So he had already shown that he was a dangerous person to be out, and they just let him go. And so he went from New York to Georgia and beat this beautiful young woman who, from 6 years old, she knew she wanted to be a nurse. She was in nursing school. All she wanted to do was help people, and she got beat to death by this fucking guy who shouldn't be here anyway, if we would just enforce the laws that we already have on the books. And then I have some, like, just all from last week. This is all from last week. It's not over, like, so Laken Riley, the 2-year-old boy, a minor in Virginia was raped by an illegal immigrant. A minor in Louisiana was raped at knife point. And then I think it was Venezuelan, but another illegal immigrant. No, he was from Jamaica, so it's not just South America, but there was a Jamaican illegal immigrant who shot 3 cops in D.C., like in a shootout. And it's just like, we live in the fucking, like, worse than the Wild West. We live in like just a war zone at all times. And all because we just won't do one of the most basic fucking things that a country in itself should do, which is enforce its border. Like, you and I can't go to Mexico right now if we just wanted to walk across. They would stop us. But the other way, there's videos of Border Patrol agents and shit fist bumping people walking in. And I could be wrong about this number, but I saw that 75,000 Chinese nationals have been caught at the border. And it's like, so it's not just Mexicans. Every single person who could possibly want to do harm to our country is going south, and then marching up and coming through our fucking border. And I think I said this on one of the other episodes, but the sheriffs, the union of sheriffs or whatever, they had a meeting, and they basically came to the conclusion that a giant terrorist attack is not a matter of if but when, because we've let in so many people, terrorists, murderers, all these kind of people, that it's just a matter of when it happens. And it's like, I know what they mean by terrorist attack, which is obviously these things times 1,000, but like, it's already happening. Like, there are already girls in Georgia who now will not go running because they might get beat to death by an illegal immigrant. There are people in Maryland who won't take their children out because they might get shot by an illegal immigrant. Like, the terror is already here. We have to fucking wait for it to be like a 9/11 style attack to do anything about it. And it's fucking nuts.
At some point, they're going to outnumber the amount of actual Americans in here, and we're not even going to be in the United States anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they already outnumber 37 states. Like, the amount that have, just from Joe Biden's presidency, the amount that have come over illegally already outnumbers 37 states. Like, their individual population, not total, but they're already like the 38th most populous state in the country. And it's like, there's a conversation to be had when it's 1,000, whether we have like the infrastructure or whatever to take care of them. Alex sent to me the other day, but the New York mayor saying they can't handle it. When we sent him to what is that island in New York, Martha's Vineyard. When we sent them to Martha's Vineyard, they were like, "Oh, we can't handle this," and it's like, yeah, we know we can't handle it. That's what we've been fucking telling you for 10 years now.
So we've been saying
this.
this.
It's going to start at that state, and then it's going to float over into the next state, and it's just going to keep happening over and over and over.
And
I saw something the other day, and it was talking about, it was like, it's like every month there's enough coming across the border or illegal immigrants coming into the United States that like it could fill, I think it was like the Giants football stadium. And it was like I want to say it may have been every week, but I think it was every month, one of the two, but still it was like a ridiculous number. And I was like, that's like, where do you put that many people? There's nowhere.
Well, they're putting them in old folks' home and kicking the old folks out of their home. They're putting them in hotels and not allowing guests to stay in the hotel because, and that's the shitty thing is obviously I'm an American free market capitalist, all that kind of stuff. But the fact that like a hotel's job is to make money, so what they're doing is the city's paying them to house all these illegals, and so they're like, well, fuck it, we're gonna get our full hotel paid every single day for the next years or whatever. Of course we're gonna do it. And it's like, well, maybe you should have like the slightest bit of morality in your money make, because it's not like it's some bumfuck hotel that doesn't make a lot of money but now they have the chance to make money. Like there are hotels in New York City that are fucking full every day of the year anyway. But the problem again, I try to stay like patriotic as fuck because I don't want them to be able to demoralize me, but it's like we don't have morals in this country anymore because we've sort of just become, hey, whatever people want to do, blah, blah, blah. But like nobody has like morals. Like nobody's like, okay, I won't do this thing even though it could benefit me because it's wrong. Whether it's these fucking people who are marching into stores and just robbing them blind, or these hotels that are housing illegals even though it's literally illegal. That's why they're called that. Like there's no morals for anything. It's just
anymore, dude. That guy.
No, they're newcomers.
The congressman just passed it that's not a term you're allowed to use in media anymore. It's non-citizens. You can't say that anymore.
Non-citizens.
Well, guess what? Now they're doubly illegal aliens.
Shame on you. Get canceled.
They're the illegaliest illegals I've ever seen in my life. But it's so dumb. Like that's one of my biggest problems. I talk about all the time. Cassie hears me rant about it probably more than anybody. But if like I was talking about going back in time, and like everybody's like, oh, that there are bad things then too. Yeah, but those problems made sense. Like if you're starving, you know to go get food. If you are sick, you know that like you can treat sickness, or like you know what are we even fucking talking about here? Like
Yeah.
all of our problems are like, what are we even
Yeah, it's
doing?
pretty simple. There's a solution to all of our problems.
All of it.
Yeah. And it's like, I think a big thing too is like as you know, the United States was like founded, and as it got older, it was like, hey, we're coming to this problem. Cool. What's the logical solution to this? That is okay. We're gonna do that, and it's been like that up until recent years. It's been, oh, what's the logical solution to this? Yeah, throw that out the window. We're gonna do it completely wrong. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just like what? Like you know what the solution is. You're just not doing it. Like they're just
Yeah.
like whatever.
That's stupid. And
You wanna know the?
argument. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I just got a joke
It's a
too.
lot of people's argument that like, well, we don't have the money to do any. It's like, it don't matter. Yeah, we're in debt to like other countries. Other countries are in debt to us too. It's not. It's the economy. It's always going like this.
Yeah.
How do you? Yeah, the money's there. We just sent $165 billion to the Ukraine. That could have built, what was it, 6 walls, could have
Yep.
fixed homelessness and
Yeah.
starvation in the United States like 4 times over. It's like, the money is not an issue.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's never a financial issue because they'll spend money on literally fucking anything. Like we send millions of dollars to like Afghanistan for LGBTQ lessons to them. Like we'll fucking send money for anything. Money
Yeah.
is not the problem. It's a matter of wanting to spend the money, and that's, it's just, and so I was gonna say, Nash, you said that we used to be like logical in our decision making, and you know what year that happened?
There's
Uh,
I can take a guess.
what was the year that the 19th Amendment was ratified? What was
Yeah.
the exact year?
Why'd they go and do that? Have you seen that?
We saw things
have you
going
seen that
real
Johnny
good,
Bravo?
and yeah,
That one's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. That Johnny Bravo clip cracks me up, man.
In 1960,
Have you seen
whatever,
that one, Alex?
women were given the right to vote, and he goes, "Well, why'd they go and do that?"
Yeah. Oh, it's so
Absolute legend.
funny. Dude,
There's
I
your
almost picked
fictional
Johnny.
character.
Dude, I almost picked him. I almost picked him for our next point. I was this close.
All right, Alex, you said you had something to ask about when you asked me.
I asked it during that. I was going to say, like, what are they even at war for? Because I didn't
Oh,
know.
okay, yeah. So, yeah, it's just a stupid time, and that's and I think it's also partly the point. I think that a lot of the left, I think like 50% of the left is actually that stupid, and 50% just plays like their stupid game to get what they want passed. Like Nash and I talked about this last night, but like reparations, I don't think anybody actually like supports reparations for the sake of like equality and being able. The people fighting for it are getting the money. Of course, they're for it. So if they can get 50% of the stupid people to say yes, where the other percentage gets the money, like that's just what they don't actually think that $1 million from the government will make racism go away. They don't actually believe that. Some of them are getting paid for it, and then the other people are just stupid and just go along with whatever people say so they don't seem racist or whatever. And so they just, of course, they're going to support it.
You know what I kind of think is a really big problem on why we don't just get stuff done easily is everybody who makes these bills or like any notion of something that we're going to do, like they're all in a position of power. So they in their head, like, first off, why can they even invest in the stock market? Like, why is
Nuts.
all these congressmen making millions of dollars a year off their investment ideas and stuff? Okay, anyways.
Yeah.
But it's like the bills and everything should come from people that aren't in power, and then we should all vote on it. Like, why the ideas of what we should do with money and situations and problems are by people in power with money trying to get more money and power.
Yep.
It doesn't.
Well,
That's go ahead.
Yeah, that's a big thing too. That like is whenever like they're trying to pass a bill or something like that. Like the reason we don't get to do it is because they'll have one bill will be like 10 pages, and it's like in the little subtext, it's like, oh, also and this. So that little and this thrown in there is something for them. Whereas if we put it up there, we're not going to put something like that in there. We're like, hey, this cut and dry. But they have a little.
They're like,
They want
oh,
to get a dog in the fight.
yeah. Oh, I'll vote for this to make it swing in your favor, but you have to add a $50 million donation to this charity. Like, it's just things.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
This charity that
That's
goes
why.
back to this company that actually then ends up coming back to me. But
Yeah.
well, and a great thing I've actually seen in it, like to your point, is like, why don't we make the Congress people, what their salary is whatever the median income is in their district, and so they have a vested interest in making people able to make more money. Well, who would make the law to make them make less money is them. So of course they're not going to do that. They'll never ever sign a bill to say I'll make less money. They'll it's kind of crazy. Well, our system was specifically set up to make passing bills like almost impossible, but with executive orders, and I just a fucking annoying thing real quick. The fact that Joe Biden is quoted as to saying the Supreme Court tried to block me, but I did it anyway. Like, so the Supreme Court overruled that he can't do this, and he went, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway." What do you mean?
Yeah.
What
That blatantly saying you did something wrong. Like,
you did something
checks and balances
illegal.
are there for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason we have checks and balances, but this is like, oh my god, this is like 8th grade U.S. history. Like,
Dude, it's
government. Come
8th
on.
grade.
Oh.
It's I'm just a bill, like Schoolhouse Rock,
Yeah.
first grade type shit. Like,
I got Tennessee education. Okay, we're a little behind. All right, a little behind. We didn't get Schoolhouse Rock till like freshman year. Okay.
you had to get speakers in for that, and there was just a whole problem with that.
Yeah, they put it on the record player and let it go
Hell
around.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we're gonna move on to attitude and gratitude. I figure we could start with attitude, keep the negativity going before we turn it around for the positive. So, anybody want to volunteer to say their attitude first?
Alex, would you like to go?
I'll go second.
All right, I'll go first.
I'll go first then.
I'll go first.
You got it.
I got it. All right, my attitude this week, and it obviously it's not like a new point or anything, but just the decline in our movies, like the quality of our movies. I know that's not all of them. Like there's been a bunch of great movies that have come out, like The Gentleman, and I heard Dune 2 is like the greatest movie to come out in 40 years or whatever. So it's not all of them, but like the general, every time a movie comes out, you're like, okay, this is gonna be stupid or whatever. And it's just like because for me growing up, my dad and I going to the movies was like one of my favorite things to do. We went all the time because it was just a fun activity that we could do together. And so movies are really important to me, and just like, especially the build up from Iron Man to Endgame. Whenever a new Marvel movie would be announced, I would get so freaking excited and be like, "Oh my gosh, like I can't wait!" And now it's like, fuck. Every time Marvel announces anything, Deadpool and Wolverine, I am holding out
So excited.
hopes and prayers. But every time they announce something, you're like, okay, they called it Thor, but a girl is going to take over for Thor, and she's going to turn out to be a lesbian, and the story is actually going to be really bad, and the CGI is going to be really bad, but like they're going to make everything bad, but they're going to call it Thor because it's like the name on it, and it's just like I'm so tired of it. And it's not just Marvel. Like Disney is obviously one of the worst, but even Flash doesn't really have any of that kind of stuff in it, but it's just really bad. Like Alex and I tried to watch it when we were in Florida, and it was just really bad.
Dude,
like the
so
CGI
bad.
was bad. The Ezra Miller, is that his name? I don't know. He's awful. He's a terrible actor. Terrible person, terrible actor. And it's just like I just want good movies again. And so my attitude is just like I'm tired of crappy movies and the decline of movies.
Dude, I think a big thing with that too is like the quality has went down, yes, but like you have to, like, if you're gonna put a movie out, you have to do like something like real good, like to get people to go to the movies, because there's multiple movies that have came out that be like, man, I kind of want to see that, but I don't want to see it that bad. I'll just wait 3
Yeah.
weeks and it'll be on
Yep.
like it'll be on some streaming service, or you can just buy like the whole experience of going to the movies is so fun, especially when it's like a really good movie. You go, and just I think that's part of it too. Is like people are so like going to the movies. When I was a kid, it was like a privilege. It was like, hey mom, we're going to the movies, or we watch
Yeah.
like, all this stuff. Like, and now it's just like, man, we'll just wait a month and watch it on TV when it comes out.
Yeah. Even when I came back from my second deployment, my thing that I would do every Sunday, went by myself, I don't care. I would go to the movies.
No
Every
shame.
Sunday.
Dude, it's fun.
I did it for like 6 months, and then I was just like, these movies have been so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. So I just stopped going. It wasn't even like fun to go anymore.
And that's like, because even Nash's point is so true. But for me, like I said, with like what the movies mean to me, I would go. Right now, I don't go because taking a 3-year-old and a newborn to the movies sounds like there's really no point. But what is it called? I should probably look it up. But there's a new Henry Cavill, Alan Richardson World War II movie coming out where they form like a special team and they go kill Nazis. And I was like telling Cassie that either I'm going to grab Nash or whenever, like if Alex comes into town, or I'm grabbing somebody and I'm going to the movies to see it, because they put out something that I want to go to the movie theater to see. And it's like,
Yeah.
you just have to make it, like you were saying, you just have to make it worthwhile. Like I'm not asking for every movie to be Dune 2 where it's like the greatest spectacle you've ever seen in your life. I just want it to be a good movie. Like I know a lot of people hate on the new Red Dawn, but I saw it in theaters and I loved it. Like just because it was just like a good movie. It was just a movie. And that's really my problem, is now everything is a fucking lecture. They twist your expectations. Even like every movie is like a comedy now. So even a serious movie, there's like goofballs in it making jokes while there's like serious shit going on. And you're just like, not every movie has to be Deadpool, where it's like the whole point of his character is he's making jokes out of shit that's not supposed to be joked about. And it really seems like his movie came out in 2015 or what. I don't remember what year the first one came out. Mm-hmm. But ever since then, everybody was like, oh my God, people love when you twist their expectations and make it like totally different than what they thought it was going to be. And it's like, no, I don't love that all the time. I love it for him because that's the whole point of his character.
Yeah.
But all right, Alex, give me that second attitude.
Mine, I feel like mine are always about people, but
always a good attitude.
Here we are again. If you're in the slow lane,
hell yeah, I'm already with you.
And I go around you, I might be going 1-2 miles per hour faster than you, and why are you doing this?
Why are you doing?
And then I gotta go around you again. What are we? Use your cruise control, please, people. Please.
Like the amount of people that drive, like they're like, it's all personal. Like it's like you pass them and they're personally offended that you're like, dude, I'm just trying to go around, and they're like, you're not gonna fucking do that to me. You're talking shit about me. I know it. And so they like fucking speed up. Dude, it's not that deep. I'm just trying to go around.
No,
like, just relax.
Look how I'm sweating. It makes me so mad. She said, every time I'm driving, I'm like, and then somebody starts going around me, I'm like, are you an idiot? Like, what are you doing? Make it make sense, please.
It's so stupid, dude. It literally, it's like, hey man, I'm not mad at you. Like, I'm not trying to like zoom past you here.
People act like when I go by them, I'm like,
like, you slow driving piece. Like, oh my, it's like, no man,
dude,
I'm just trying to get there a little faster than you. Like, that's it.
oh man.
Or I'm in cruise control going 4 over. You're in cruise control going 1 over. So I'm just gonna go around, and then we can all stay in cruise control. And we just fucking now it's a personal vendetta.
I was in 3rd place, and now I'm in 4th.
I'm not getting beat in this race. My whole life is NASCAR. Let's go, baby.
You know what?
Yeah, let's go, baby.
There's probably people like when I was a kid.
Where's that damn left turn?
When I was younger, and I would be picked up by my dad and to go to his house on the highway, I'd be like, we're in 107th place, Dad. Like, let's see. There's probably kids like me in the backseat. That's why it's like that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's good. I like that one.
Nash,
Well,
give me
so
the
for
attitude,
my
man.
attitude, I'm with you on this, Alex. People, man, people.
The word.
A lot
The
of mine
worst.
generally come from people, and so mine was people that automatically assume you're like this, like you're like super tight, like they just
Oh
come
yeah,
in and just get like way too personal with you way too quick. Like, oh, so I'll start cutting jokes, or like if like you come in and like make like a joke like that, like we would make like something about like your appearance, or like
yeah.
it's like, oh, look at him, he's short or something like that, or it's like, dude, I don't know you like that, like stop, like, and I hate it, dude. Yeah, yeah, like, oh
Bro,
gosh, dude.
you want to get your shit kicked in? Like, who the fuck are you talking to?
Yeah, like, what are you talking? Or the dude that's like, he thinks everyone likes him, but no one does, and he just doesn't see it somehow.
Dude,
Somehow he
the
doesn't see it.
the adult class clown is like one of my least favorite kinds
Yes,
of people. Bro, shut
that's
the
exactly
fuck
what I'm
up.
talking about.
Shut
Yeah, dude,
up. No, you're not
stop
funny.
talking.
It's not cute and quirky that like you don't find anything serious or anything like you don't care about anything. Oh shit, I think my headphone just died, but we're gonna keep rolling.
Can you
But
still
the
hear us?
person who like doesn't find anything serious, doesn't care about anything, it's like that's not funny. It's not quirky or cute that you're like this. It's fucking
Mm-mm.
annoying.
Like, do you remember when we were in ALS? That dude that would stand in the class, like come into the doorway and stuff like that, like close the door in his
Yep.
face. Him,
Yep.
like that guy. He's
Yep.
like, "What's going on in this class, huh? Am I right?" Like, shut up! Like,
No,
what are you
no, you're
doing?
not right.
Yeah, you're not welcome here. Go away.
Dude, there is I've said this before, but at rugby after rugby practice on Thursdays, we'll go to the bar and we'll have some drinks and stuff together. And this guy who plays for the college team or something, he introduced himself to me, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm Josh," and whatever. And he starts talking. He was like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "Florida." And he starts talking about his brothers and his stepbrothers, and they live in Hillsboro, and but down in Zephyr Hills, this is where his aunt lives. And I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
there's small talk, like, oh, it's nice out today, or rugby practice was whatever. Like, but I don't give a shit about your mother's brother's cousin. Like, I just don't.
yeah.
Like, and yeah, so dude, what a great attitude section, boys. Every single one of those was right on point.
Solid.
But all right, let's move on to gratitude. I guess I'll start this off too. So when I was in Florida last week, I finally caved in to my wife and bought some new socks because a lot of my socks have holes in them, and yeah, so I bought some new socks for myself. I also bought some like big comfy sweatpants, and so new socks. That was going to be my gratitude by itself. The new sock feeling, ooh. But new socks, new sweatpants, a comfy shirt in fresh, clean sheets, and you just like get in. Whew. Boy, literally my wife, like specifically one of the days we came home, she was like, "I'm gonna clean this sheets so you can put like your nice new clothes on and get in and just like play Xbox or whatever." We're gonna make another baby somehow because like, fuck me, dude.
Dude, such a just the it's like you're being hugged by like
Yes.
the air and the everything. You just feel so
So
nice
comfy.
and cozy. Yeah, dude.
I like that.
That's so
Hell yeah.
Dude,
that's
that's
a good one.
one of my big, because I'm in a lot of like the hyper masculine spaces, I guess, on social media, and one of the things that annoys me the most about them is when they're like, you have to take ice baths and you have to be uncomfortable at all times or else like you're not masculine. It's like, dude, fucking put some sweatpants on and take a breath. Like,
Yeah, dude.
you're not masculine because you take an ice bath. Like that's got nothing to do with like anything.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, Alex, give me that gratitude.
Mine. This is gonna sound really weird because I'm just such a manly man.
Yeah.
But my gratitude, just because it's been a newer thing for me for probably about a year now. Plants.
Mm-hmm.
My newest one today. But no,
Show it off.
It started. Check this out.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude, your air is getting purified so good right now.
that's that good
Getting
oxygen.
that good air, that good
Well, it all
oxygen.
started for me when I went to my great grandmother's. She's 89 now. Lives in Arkansas. About
Happy
a year
birthday.
ago. Yeah, it was just her birthday the other day.
Oh.
She gave me a cutting, which I was like, "What? You're gonna cut me?" No, she gave me a cutting of a plant that is her great grandparents. So this is I have a
Holy
plant
cow.
that's over 200 years old. And once
Hell
I got that, I
yeah.
was like, dang, I love plants now. So now I'm like, dude, I don't even know what this is, but it looks cool. So,
But I like it.
It looks
yeah,
cool. But I like
it
it.
does. So I don't know. That's my newest thing lately.
That's
what
great, dude.
That's what
That's
I'm
a great
doing.
one too. And that's
I mean, plants are nice to have, dude.
and that's actually like I know you're like smiling about it, whatever, but I'm sure you understand that is so special, that like 200-year-old cutting thing, dude. Like
Yeah.
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
something that like I wish I could have. Like I don't have any plants right now in the house, but actually that's not true. I got the roses. You got jade for Valentine's Day, but that's so special, and that's yeah. I'm just very very happy for you. That's super cool.
Thanks, man.
That's
Yeah, well,
awesome.
when I was,
That's really cool.
I'm packing up my house right now because I'm about to move on Friday, and I don't have like any family memorabilia. Like it's all in my parents' house, like growing up, and then like that's the only thing that I think I have that's like mine.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hell yeah.
I like that. That's a simple one. Mine's kind of a little bit, it's kind of similar to that a little bit, like plants. And I put a good rainstorm, like a good thunder rainstorm, dude.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing more than, like, it's almost like, it's like humbling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like just opening up the windows, like with the screens and everything, and just like hearing like the rain, and occasionally you hear like some lightning, thunder, and like it like a thunder will strike or like lightning will strike, and like the thunder like shakes the house, and you're like, oh my god, like that's crazy. And it's just like, and then like after lightning and thunder's done, it's just the rain, and it's so peaceful. And like, dude, the smell after it's rain. I mean, it's a little different in South Carolina.
Smell.
Yeah, it's a little different in South Carolina. It smells a little, ugh, but sometimes, but like for the most part, like dude, like that, like you can smell the water in the air, and that sounds so weird to say, but you like smell the moisture, and it's like it's so nice, dude, and
Dude,
relaxing.
You want to hear the cutest story with that? That's such a good segue for this. So Jade and I went to the store the other day, the grocery store, and it was one of the days it was raining this week, and we get out of the car and she goes, "Dad, what's that smell?" Well, she goes, "What's that smelling?" And so I was like, "Oh, baby, it's when the rain like hits the concrete. It's like that fresh rain smell." And she goes, "I like that." And I was like, "Yes, that's
adorable. Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Hell yeah, that's a great gratitude. Actually, I can't remember what day it was, but I was telling Cassie that like especially like after a rugby game or after something where you're like hurting, or hangover too, but like something where you're hurting the next day, you wake up and it's raining and cloudy, so it's just like quiet and comfy and cool, and it's just like this is exactly that's the best healing for a day you're feeling like shit. It's just like a nice rainy day. So
it's like the earth just telling you like, hey, dude, it's the earth just telling you, hey, calm down, you're good, go back to sleep,
we got
just
you,
relax.
Thanks,
got
God.
you, buddy.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, that's good. Man, I need a good rain now.
Dude, it's been raining all week here. What are you talking about? We like this whole
I know, but I already miss it. I didn't take it for granted. I took it for granted when it was here.
Yeah, see. All right. We're gonna move into this last section. We're gonna see how this goes. I sort of hit on it in the intro, but we're gonna deep dive into our souls and our hearts and our feelings, and we're gonna talk about a fictional character or several, or try to connect some dots or whatever that we just totally empathize with. And when I do mine, I have a reason for where this came from. But does anybody want to go first, or do you want me to?
I can, or Alex.
Alex,
you want to
Alex
go
got
first,
the hand
buddy?
raised, so we'll go with Alex.
I raised my hand, so I get to
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can't just speak out loud here, okay? Okay, mine. There's only one aspect about him that I don't really like. Well, maybe I do. You guys just don't even know. For me, like when you said it, the first thing that came in my head was Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I'm out. Not because I'm out here killing people. The bad. But
Definitely not.
I feel like, yeah, definitely not, right? I feel like a lot of people, like when you meet me, and kind of similar to him, like I come off as a little emotionless or like nonchalant or something. I'm just kind of just kind of
Yeah.
doing my thing, not really.
Yeah.
But deep down, I'm really like a family guy. I'll do what needs to be right to equalize everything. So that, to me, Dexter for me.
That's great. See that was you scared me a little bit when we got on here, but that's exactly what I was talking about. That's fantastic.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that's good. Mine's kind of it's a little more surface level. I'm not as in deep with him, but I picked Rocket Raccoon, dude, because no, listen, hear me out.
No, that's
No,
mine, you piece of shit.
Are you serious,
What the actual fuck, dude? I'm so pissed. What the fuck?
dude?
All right.
Well, I'll let you dive more into it, but
Yeah.
I'm just like the surface level because dude, there's no way.
What I told you when we hopped on here you would never guess it, and then I was like, what the
We hang out. We spend too much time together, Walker.
apparently, fuck me.
Uh,
Damn.
um,
There's a billion fucking people.
oh,
But
dude.
go ahead.
Oh gosh. Also, I want to say something. When you said Dexter, like at the start, I definitely thought you were talking about Dex from Dexter's Laboratory and not the guy from the show. And I was like, I don't really know how you associate with him, but all right, man, go off. But
I easily
yeah,
confused.
a did.
My
But
laboratory.
my laboratory. um, so Rocket, yeah. So I like in the newest Guardians of the Galaxy, like his like whole backstory is like so sad and like everything like that. And I didn't really associate with like that, but like the way he's just like in all of their scenarios they're in, like he just like says how it is and is just like a smart ass and just like all the time he like has these realizations like, am I the only one seeing this? Like I just for example, like with like Thor, like Thor's like uh he says something to Thor. He's like, "What are you gonna throw at it?" And he's like, Thor's like, "I'm gonna throw you." And he's like, "Are you serious? Like what?" Like, and I was very surface level on him, but I cannot believe we picked the same one. That's
Dude.
wild.
So mine is also Rocket Raccoon, and so it was gonna be. I was thinking about Deadpool because I've got the Deadpool tattoo, and it's sort of for the same reason, but there was a video somebody put together, like an edit, but of like basically his entire story. And sometimes at the gym I'll do like a Batman one, and so like that'll fucking hype me up in the gym or something like that. And so there was a Rocket one, and I was like, oh yeah, like I love Rocket. Jade sleeps with a Rocket stuffy. So like I was like, oh yeah, and I genuinely started like I had to like take a deep breath and hold my breath and just get my workout in because I was gonna cry to this fucking edit in the gym. And I was like, and so because I'm listening to basically the whole thing, his whole story summarized in like this 10-minute thing, and it's like I totally empathize with everybody thinking you're an asshole and everybody thinking you're purposefully being an asshole, and like when it seems like you couldn't be more of an asshole, you just dig even deeper into that like asshole thing. And so basically like why, and it's because like the quote that like fucking got me is where when he's, I think it's in Guardians 2 where he's talking to Yondu, and he's like, I didn't ask to get torn apart and put back together again over and over and over again until they like were done with me and they threw me away. And so, I'm not about to tell my whole like life story on here. Like that's for an actual like porch time with the boys. But like some of the things I've had happen in my life and some of the expectations I've been put through and some of the like things where people have tried to tear me down or get me in trouble or do all this, and it's constant like a constant beat down. And like and so then I act like an asshole, and then people are like, "Why are you acting like an asshole?" It's like, because I didn't fucking ask to be put in this situation. I didn't get asked to be
Yeah.
for my expectations to be higher than everybody else's. I didn't get asked to be like where I'm supposed to be the role model for my like in my family as far as like my dad and mom and siblings. Like obviously I'm supposed to be the head of this household, but like as a child, I didn't ask to be. I'm supposed to save everybody because everybody else is fucking up. Like I didn't ask to do any of that. And so I'm acting like an asshole because I'm pissed at like my lot in life. And like you said, like that doesn't mean that like I'm not competent. That doesn't mean that I'm not happy. That doesn't mean any of those things. But like when people are like, "Oh, you're such an asshole," or "You're so blunt," or "You're so like you don't care about other people's feelings," it's like, well, yeah, because nobody fucking cares about mine. So why would I care about yours?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was like, I hearing like his whole story, like I said, in like a 10-minute thing, and it was just like hitting me right in my soul, and I was like, like I said to you guys, and I said in the intro, but like a lot of the times I'll get like, oh, Hulk or Aquaman because I'm like big and love the ocean, or Captain America. Like a lot of people do the Captain America thing because I'm so patriotic and stuff. But like, really, I'm just this like asshole raccoon that just like wants to be, like, because in the third one he like wants to go with Lila, his friend that got killed and like I just want to be like with my family. But like, and
Yeah.
I obviously I am. They weren't. Luckily, thank God, like nothing's happened, and they're not taken away from me. But like every day, it's just another tear down and build back up, and tear down from something or somebody or whatever. And it's just like I didn't ask to be put in this situation. All this shit keeps happening to me, and then people wonder why, like you're not getting like softness from me. It's like, well, because I don't get that from anybody else, and that's Cassie is.
I don't have time for that.
Yeah, and Cassie's my saving grace because I've talked about it on here before, but she gives me all of those things as my wife and as like the mother of my children that I didn't get from anybody else. Her expectations of me are all fair. Her expectations of me are all consistent. She loves me no matter what. She takes care of me, like I said in my gratitude. Like she'll purposefully do things so that like I'm like could be as comfortable and happy as possible. And it's like that's why she doesn't get any of that assholery from me because she doesn't do the things to me that other people do to me. And it's like that's why it's so funny when people talk to Cassie, and not so much anymore, but when she had like some friends in Colorado who would try to gossip and be like, "Oh, he's such an asshole and he's like mean to the guys in the shop," and she's like, "Doesn't do that to me." So like I don't know what you're complaining
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, so that was my that
soft.
yeah.
You know what I mean? People are just soft. I wouldn't say you've never been an asshole to me, really.
Yeah.
You say it how it is. It doesn't mean you're an asshole.
And
Well, here's
that's
the thing too, though, is like a lot of people don't want to look past that too. It's like, yeah, you may be an asshole from the jump or like whatever. Like you may come off that way, but like, fucking, dude, like, there's like so like when we first like met, I was like, oh, we might butt heads a little bit, and then you were like based in class,
Yeah.
and I remember I looked at you and I was like, we're gonna be friends, and then
Yeah.
fucking the rest is history, dude. But I was like, oh, he's just saying the right things. He's just saying them like to the
Yeah.
point. And I was like, yes, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah, dude, that's
it's
good
a funny thing, like it's I'm trying to put this to not like make it personal for like somebody specific, but it's just like all the people who do those things to me then expect me not to be that way to them, and it's like
Yeah.
I'll never understand how somebody can treat you a certain way or tear you down or treat you harshly or be sort of uncaring to you, and then it's like, well, what did you think was going to happen? You thought you were going to be able to just step
Yeah.
all over me and tear me down or whatever, and I was just going to like not do anything about it? Like, no, that's not how
No,
that works.
yeah. I think a lot of people haven't been checked either. Like when it comes to that stuff, like they do that to people, and people just give them back. Like, oh, you were a dick to me. I'm gonna be super nice to you and everything like that. No one's ever been like, you're a dick to me. I'm gonna be a dick back to you. Like they've never had that like check to be like, oh, hold up.
Probably being part of the military too. All these people who are like higher ranking think they can just say whatever and do whatever. and you're probably the person who's just like, no, that's not okay.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
you're like,
and
It's like we may wear a uniform with different ranks, but we're people at the end of the day. Like,
well, and even not even so much. Well, obviously that is true, but not even the rank thing. But I've literally been told that because of like my stature or my attitude or whatever, people are more willing to hold this expectation of me or treat me differently or hold me to a different standard or whatever. And it's like, if you hold me to a different standard because you expect better of me, that's one thing. But to hold me to a totally different standard than everybody else, strictly because I am a certain way, or I am competent enough, or I am capable enough, and all those kind of things. But that doesn't mean this person doesn't have to do what they're supposed to do, but you expect me to do what I'm supposed to do every second of the day because they're not
Yeah.
me. And it's like, well, no, that's not how that shit works. You either hold the
Yeah.
same expectation to both of us, or you don't. But it's and Nash, you were so dead on the modern day of like everybody just acts like this generally fake nice to each other, and so then we all pretend that we're all kumbaya. We're actually like when you get behind closed doors, everybody hates each other. It's like,
yeah,
you know how many more
it's because
things
no
could
one will
get
say anything
fixed?
to your face.
No, and I would much
Yeah.
rather you say something to my face any day of the week than to find out from somebody else that you were saying this to somebody else and they overheard it. It's like, just tell me. And even the asshole thing, I get it. Like one of the newer guys in the shop, he said when he first met me, he thought I was an asshole because of the way I look and the way I talk and everything. I was like, I get it. It's
Yeah.
sort of on purpose, but yeah. So I still can't believe that we had the same random Marvel character that.
Yeah.
Um,
And I was thinking so hard. I was like, "God, who do I associate with?" I was like scrolling through all these different characters, and I was like, because I was like, I'm gonna fall on some Marvel character. I already knew it.
Mhm.
And then I was like, who's kind of an asshole sometimes, but also provides a little bit of comedic relief. Rocket. And then I was
yeah.
like, that's it.
Well, it's funny
That's so
because,
crazy.
especially like when the movies come out, then people usually talk about the movie and compare characters and stuff. And like I've gotten Drax a lot because I'm big and also pretty dry a lot of the time. But it's like, that's I don't. I wish I could, but I don't empathize with Drax because he like has had these terrible things happen to him, and he sort of just goes about his day. Like, one day I'll be able to see them again, but right now, like, there's nothing I can do about it. That's not the way I handle emotion at all. Like, I'm very like, because of my background and how I've been like beat down so much, I'm not going to take a beat down with like calmness. I'm going to take a beat down with, you can get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah. As you should.
Wow, boys. What a great way to end the episode.
That was good, man. That was
That was
fun.
so great. Yeah. I hope that in August we're all able to take that trip to Florida, because that would be like one of these conversations, but we're able to have like a totally unfiltered, non-camera conversation. I think would be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But you boys got any last words of wisdom
Nothing from me.
other than get the fuck out of the slow lane, or get out of the fast lane if you're gonna go slow?
Yeah.
Nash,
Be better. Just be better. Be better, people. Not you two. Y'all are great.
Yeah. Totally perfect in every way. Nothing to work
Yeah,
on.
there's nothing wrong with us whatsoever. So,
All right, boys. Well, this has been another fantastic episode of From the Front Porch. If you're still here, I really appreciate it. Please like, please comment, please subscribe, do all those things. It really helps me out. Tune back in next week. Hope both these boys are back next week, but we'll see what's happening then. This has been From the Front Porch, and we will see you next week. Peace.